I'm Joshua Bardwell, and you're going to learn something today. This video is one of my series about the Betaflight arming prevention status flags. That's the way that Betaflight tells you why it's refusing to arm. You're trying to arm your quad. Nothing's happening. This video is here to help you figure out why. And the flag that we're looking at today is the throttle flag. I actually forgot about the throttle flag. I thought I'd finished this series and was like, okay, that's done. And then it was like, somebody was like, hey, I'm getting the throttle flag. Where's your video about that? Well, here it is. Better late than never. Here's the deal with the throttle flag. I'm going to move my throttle right now, up and down. You can't see my transmitter, but you can see it right there in the receiver channel. The throttle is moving up and down. When I put the throttle all the way down, the throttle needs to be lower than this value right here, or the quadcopter will refuse to arm. Anytime the throttle is higher than this value right here, the throttle flag will pop up. And we can maybe even see that in real time if we go to setup. Arming disable flags 7,17. I'm going to lower the throttle. 7 goes away. So arming flag 7 must be throttle. See? There you go. Moving the throttle. Now the reason that Betaflight refuses to arm when the throttle's raised is, well, think about it. If you arm the quad and the throttle was raised, the motor would immediately just go blah, and the quad would fly up into the sky unpredictably. So we only want to arm the quad when the throttle is all the way down. And if your throttle is not going below that threshold, you might think the thing to do is just to raise the threshold. So here in the receiver tab, if I put my throttle all the way down and I only see a value of 1073, well, I should just set the stick low threshold to 1074 and then I'd be good to go. It's not quite that simple. For one thing, you always want to give yourself just a little bit of sort of buffer space. So if your throttle is going down to 1073 at the bottom, don't set your stick low threshold to 1074. Set it to like 1078. Give yourself, 5 microseconds or 10 microseconds of buffer, because your joystick might have a little bit of slop in the gimbal, or I don't know. Just give yourself a little buffer. But there's actually a better way to fix this, and the way to fix this is to set the endpoints in your radio correctly. You see, Betaflight wants to see when your stick is all the way down a value of 1000, and it wants to see when your stick is all the way up a value of 2000. Oh, I'm at 2001. That's not quite exactly right. And we should see that for all the channels, yaw left, yaw right, etc. So we want, oh wow, why are my channels at 2001? Well, anyway, 1 microsecond isn't going to make or break us, but we want to see a value of 1000 to 2000. And the right way to fix that is actually in your transmitter. Make your transmitter send the correct values to Betaflight. And we're not going to show that in this video because the exact way to do it varies depending on transmitters. I have links down in the video description to some videos I made showing how to do it for the Tyrannus or any OpenTX radio, for the Spectrum DX6, and for the FlySky FSI6B. You can go check those videos out. They're linked down in the video description. But there's actually a way to do it in Betaflight if you don't want to mess with your transmitter, and it's almost as good. It's way easier, that's for sure. What you're going to do is you're going to move your sticks all the way to the bottom and top of their travel, and you're going to make a note of what value you see at the bottom and top of the travel. So let's say when I move my stick all the way to the left, I see a value of 1040, and all the way to the right, I see a value of 1911. I don't know. Whatever those values are, make a note of them for the aileron, elevator, roll, throttle channels. Whatever order your channels are, just make a note of them. The bottom and the top value. And then you're going to go to the command line and you're going to use the RX range command. And the way it works is you type RX range 0, and that's the first channel. So if we go back to my receiver tab, hang on. So if we go back to the receiver tab here, the first channel is roll, and that's going to be RX range 0. The second channel is pitch, and that's going to be RX range 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, whatever order your channels are in. And you're going to type RX range 0, and then you're going to type the two numbers that were the endpoints. So if my channel at the bottom was at 1072 and my channel at the top was at 1985, that's what I would type, and I would hit enter. And I would do that for all 4 of the channels. There's another thing you can do here. If your channels are backwards, you can actually flip them by inverting those two numbers. 1985, 1072 would actually flip the channel. That's something, again, that you can fix in your transmitter, but maybe it's not easy for you to do. When you're done entering the 4 RX range commands for your 4 channels, you're going to type save. And then when you come back here to the receiver tab, you should see, just like me, 1000 to 2000 on all your channels. And at that point, you can then set the stick low threshold to, well, I like to give myself about 5 microseconds of little buffer at the bottom of the throttle here, but I set my stick low to 1005 and my stick high to 1995, and then I will always be able to arm. I will never get the throttle warning. I want to point out to you that this throttle behavior can actually be used to your benefit. If you want to make sure you don't accidentally arm your quad, like you've got a switch set up for arming and, oh no, my quad is armed and now it's eating my face. If you want to prevent that, one way to do it is to just, when you disarm, just slightly raise the throttle. And then, good, now you can't arm the quad. And then when you're ready to fly, lower the throttle and then you can arm. Of course, setting up a Betaflight Prearm Mode or 2-stage switch arming in your transmitter is a better way of doing that. And if you want to learn about that, I highly recommend everybody who uses switches for arming, which you should use switches for arming, you need to use either 2-stage arming or Prearm mode. And I will also show you how to do that in a video linked down in the video description. Well, there you go. Now you know how to get rid of the throttle arming status flag. And if you ever want to know about any of the other ones, check the playlist linked down in the video description, which goes through. In fact, I really think everybody should go through this whole playlist, because a lot of the things that go wrong when you're first setting up a quad cause an arming prevention status flag. And so if you sort of master this playlist, you will also master the ability to troubleshoot your quad and why it's not flying right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Happy flying.